All right, everyone, welcome back. I'm Megan Kieran, and today I have a very special guest. Her name is Katie. She's a psychoanalyst, a Reiki II practitioner, a hypnotherapist, and an intuitive healer. Katie, welcome.
Hi, thank you so much for having me.
Of course, of course. I am so excited to chat with you specifically because of your unique background. I feel like your background in clinical and those foundations, plus, being an intuitive healer and having those Reiki foundations is also, it's a really cool mix. So,
Mhm.
how did you get to the place where you are now? And kind of what was your path to this journey? And kind of how did the spirituality play a role in it?
Yeah, so I have been a therapist for about 10 years now, and pretty soon after I finished grad school, I went and did psychoanalytic training. I just still felt like I needed more. And have been working with clients just regularly and kind of just like as a regular therapist. And in my own journey, like my own spiritual journey, I feel like that developed over time. And then in my own healing process too, using things like hypnotherapy or EFT tapping, I felt like those things were in addition to my own just regular talk therapy, psychoanalysis, I felt like were super important and useful too. And I felt like clients kind of needed that. And then as I got further kind of in my own spiritual path, I felt like I started hearing things that my clients were talking about, where I wasn't just hearing it in terms of the clinical lens, in terms of like attachment dynamics and whatnot, and their history and trauma, but also like kind of their soul mission and path, and that they came here to this earth to work through these things. And I felt like both lens were super important and necessary, where it was important for them to, I think, understand that spiritual side and not feel so like helpless, but also having that clinical lens, being able to like sit with someone and grieve those things and work through the attachment. And I feel like the blend of those two things were kind of, I don't know, it was like too good to not bring into the room. And I felt like I had to.
Oh my gosh, I absolutely love that. This is something that I feel like is so unique and different than anything that we've done in the past. And this is exactly what I feel like we're creating in the quote unquote new earth, right? We're not going anywhere, but
Mm-hmm.
we're creating these new ways of being, new ways of healing, and new ways of really uplifting the collective, right? Because a lot of people listening and a lot of people in this space came here for the purpose of healing others or, really carrying the light in a way, because there's a lot going on in the world. There's a lot of people,
Mm-hmm.
that have gone through traumatic things, which I'm sure you've seen. And I am super interested to know more about the hypnotherapy and the EFT tapping, and kind of I love how it's a reflection of you. Like I love how you went through the healing and then that is what brought forward your new kind of modality that you're bringing into the world with healing. So
Mm-hmm.
I would love to hear more about that.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like so my approach is super intuitive and individualized, like person by person. So there's no necessarily method, but I feel like it always starts kind of as regular therapy. That's kind of the entrance for me.
Hmm.
And as I work with clients over time, I think my intuition that I've learned to trust like more and more will tell me, okay, I think I can tell that this client right now, something is stuck beyond words where I feel like maybe something, one of their chakras might be blocked or something. And maybe
Hmm.
that's keeping that us from being able to like move deeper in talk therapy in a certain way. And so maybe they need Reiki at one point, or maybe at another point there we're doing like kind of inner child healing. And the talking about it consciously is like not getting deep enough, and maybe going in with hypnotherapy and healing something in that sense is what's helpful. And so I think that's also my skill as a psychoanalyst, also intuitively, but I think as a clinician, being able to know when to use something and why, also like when to bring in the spiritual component of something, or when maybe they actually just need to sit in the emotion and like with someone and feel that and heal that first before going there.
Yeah, no, I love that. And for people who don't know, and kind of for me, like what
Hmm.
exactly is hypnotherapy? Um, I guess, we've heard the term hypnosis, and I think it's similar to like a guided meditation and what I'm picturing it to be, but I would love to kind of hear what you would describe it as.
Yeah, it is pretty similar to almost a guided meditation, but you're kind of going into what's called like a trance state, which I
Mm.
think your brain is actually in like REM state. And so your consciousness is just relaxed a little bit. And I actually think of it the same way that I think of psychoanalysis, where the goal is actually to be able to, like, what's called free associate, to just be able to speak what comes to mind without it having to make sense. And so I always tell my clients that, like, when they're in hypnosis, to really just say like what comes to mind first, because I think that is always what's most important, like without our consciousness filtering it out. And so being able to kind of drop into that more relaxed state like lowers those defenses a little bit so that they can be able to kind of speak more freely.
Oh, that makes a lot of sense. Like, do you feel as though you're tapping into their subconscious and like kind of unlayering the egoic aspects of their mind? I don't even know if that makes sense, but
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Um, yeah, I think so. And I think it's like it gives them, I think, a freedom almost to feel maybe less, yeah, self-conscious, like where their
Mm.
ego can chill a little bit and they can say something that comes up. And I feel like on my end, I'm able to, I think this is kind of the intuitive part for me, tap into like different parts of themselves more. Like I was with a client the other day and we were um doing some hypnosis, and I just felt like I was like her soul is like we were doing inner child healing, so there was her adult self and her child self, and all of a sudden I was like, I feel like your soul is here right now, and she has a lot to say, and it just kind of came through me. Yeah.
Yeah, wow. So it's like almost the more you've been doing this work, do you feel like you're becoming more intuitive in a way? And like it's like these downloads or these channeled messages are just coming through you.
Yeah, definitely. I think getting certified in Reiki like definitely opened that up a lot for me. And the more that I do it, I think the more it comes through. Yeah.
Yeah, how did that come into play? Because like I feel like as a therapist, it seemed in a clinical therapist or I don't know the proper terms, but
Hmm.
that seems so far removed from Ricky. It just seems like it's all its own little lane in the whole realm of wellness and like self-care and um, just healing your mind and therapy. So, where do those two connect? Like, how did that come into your life?
Yeah, it's kind of crazy. I guess it's not that crazy. I feel like my Reiki teacher was like, this is how it happens. But um I never actually had even had Reiki done to me or anything. Like I had heard the term, but I really didn't know much about it. And it came to me one day. I was in like a really deep meditation. And it kind of just came to me like in my head, and I was envisioning myself doing it. And then a few weeks later, I was talking to my psychic, and she was like, "You should do Reiki." And I was like, "That's weird." Like I was just thinking about this. And then a few weeks later, I was meeting with my psychiatrist actually, and she also was like, "Oh, I just got certified in Reiki and I'm doing sessions if you want." I was like, "This is so weird." It like kept coming up, and I was like, "I feel like I should get certified." And yeah, so then a few weeks later, a few months later, I ended up getting certified, and I felt like, yeah, I had been wanting to incorporate some kind of like spirituality or energy healing into my work for a long time. Like I was
Okay.
thinking about it for about a year, but I didn't know what exactly or how. And I felt like I kind of kept following the breadcrumbs, and I felt like, and thinking about it more and more. And it kind of just dropped into place one day. And I was like, oh, this is exactly how it works together.
That is so cool. I love how it's so
Yeah.
organic and it's like can't be planned. But
Hmm.
these little like breadcrumbs kind of led you to the place where it all came together.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's awesome. And I'm similar. I'm also certified in Reiki. And what I'm seeing right now is just there's a lot of people that are very overwhelmed. I'm sure you're seeing an increase as well as, people are feeling a lot from the external world, as well as what they consume on social media. That's a huge factor.
Hmm.
What have you been seeing and what has been really helping people? I know it's a combo of things, but I guess like recently in your finds, has there been some sort of theme that has come up as far as like what they're experiencing and kind of ways that they're navigating things?
Mm. Mm.
I'm sure it's like so unique per person of what everyone's
Yeah,
going through.
I'm trying to think. It's like I feel like it's so, I mean,
Like
I'm sure there are themes. Yeah. Go
are
ahead.
more people being drawn into like when you do the sessions, do you
Hmm.
feel more drawn to do hypnotherapy a lot more or Reiki a lot more on people, I guess, within the past year than you have in the past?
Yes, definitely. I think my own relationship with like energy work and spirituality has deepened. So I think it comes through with my clients more. And I think the more I've gone into that realm of things and have like been able to trust my intuition more and more, I feel much more like freer and more expressed, I think, with my clients. And I think it's like helpful for them. I think it opens up so much, and then it just generates like that momentum more. Like I'm more excited about it, and I think it ends up working more with them. And yeah.
No, I love that because I think just bringing the intuition into the therapy is like something that is so needed.
Hmm.
And it's cool how it naturally kind of came into your life, right? To
Yeah.
take this role and lead and help others in this way. No, that's
Hmm.
awesome. And I guess what are your current offerings right now? Where can people find you? I would love to hear kind of how people can work with you.
Yeah, of course. So you can find me on Instagram at Katie Blumenfeld, LCSW. I'm also on Substack, which is really like, I'm loving Substack. I write a lot there about like therapy, but also spirituality, a lot of like my personal experiences too, and the blend of all of that. Um, and you can also find me on my website, which has my offering, which is called Where the Psyche Meets the Soul. And it is, yeah, really how I work with people that want therapy, but not just kind of regular therapy. Like they want something much more integrative, and really like whole person healing transformation on all levels.
I love it. I love it. Like very
Mhm.
holistic.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah. Oh, that's awesome. And I'll link everything below. So everyone can find your Instagram, your Substack, and your website. So we'll make
Perfect.
sure to have those. All right. Well,
Yay.
thank you so much for coming on. And I'm super excited to kind of see how your journey unfolds and to see this breakthrough into this therapy space for other people as well. Because I think what you're doing is cutting edge and a super important way to help heal others. So
Yeah.
thanks,
Thank
Katie.
you. Thank you.
I hope you enjoyed this episode. Please check out my socials at The Om Light on Instagram, TikTok, YouTube, and Spotify. You can also find me at theomlight.com. Sessions are now open and available. One-on-one sessions are super helpful for anything you may be going through in your life to help you feel more aligned and clear.